What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, and whoa boy, it's D-Day for folks down at Netflix. It's time to start giving some numbers up. It's gonna be tomorrow. I am very interested to see what those Netflix numbers look like. There's gonna be a lot of folks watching to see what's going on at the big end. Netflix to step into a spotlight, kicking off a media earnings season riddled with anxiety. So Netflix has its earnings report tomorrow, basically is what it's saying. How did it do in the second quarter? People have been waiting, because they've had some major issues since this year started, starting off with the loss of 200,000 subscribers, which absolutely plummeted their stock back after the first quarter. And so now we're getting the second quarter results. And Deadline covers it right here, just kind of giving an overview of what can we expect, what's going to happen with Netflix. You guys know I've been covering this Netflix issue and how they've just been absolutely getting hammered all up and down. It just every facet of their business is seeing it's just catching L's. And so now we're going to kind of look at this. What can we expect for tomorrow when they get their earnings report? By the way, folks, if you haven't done so, go ahead and give me a like. I really appreciate it. It does help this video circulate and make its way around YouTube. And let's go ahead and check it out. So it says Netflix will reveal its financial results from the second quarter on Tuesday, and the outcome is expected to set the tone for one of the most anxious and uncertain earning seasons in years. Heck yeah. And it says here the report will have wide-ranging implications for the stock in the media ecosystem. Last quarter, Netflix issued a warning about its second quarter performance, saying it could shed as many as 2 million subscribers, though it continues to pace the streaming business with about 222 million worldwide. Investors last April reacted to that because you know what they did? As soon as they lost them 200,000 subscribers that they lost, sell, and that price went, it dropped off the face of the earth, and Netflix really started to scratch their head, and people started really paying close attention to what was happening over at Netflix. That's when they announced that they were going to start thinking about doing some ad-based services and things of that nature. That's when they started talking about like, hey, we really need to crack down on the password sharing, so we're going to try to do something about that. A lot of folks think that it really has more to do with the people like Disney, Warner, Universal, and so on. Now we're competitors. Now we got our own streaming services. Let's go, Netflix, step up to the plate. Let's see what you got. And so Netflix has been trying to figure out this whole situation over these past 3 to 4 months. And some of the things that you could absolutely expect them to talk about is some of the content that they're making. It says here that the company is going to continue to take big budget swings like The Gray Man, the Russo brothers spy thriller, which is now in theaters and coming to streaming on Friday. It says, we're not crazily reducing our spend, but we're reducing volume. So they got to slow down on how many of these films that they're making. A lot of these shows and films that they're making, they're not getting the expected results. And so if you're not getting the results out of this, you really got to start thinking, okay, what are we doing wrong and what is it that we need to do better? It says here, we think that Netflix is positioned to exceed its guidance for Q2, particularly because of the staggered release dates for Stranger Things 4, which has strong viewership. In other words, by saying it can lose up to 2 million subscribers, Netflix could over-deliver by losing 1 million subscribers. Now look, losing subscribers for Netflix is not a ridiculously huge problem. I think the steady decline of their subscriber count is going to happen anyway, because again, people just don't have money just to keep subscribing to every streaming service. People are going to start picking and choosing. I think that the streaming competitive world is going to eventually kind of reach a different equilibrium than what Netflix is getting now. Like if it has 222 million subscribers worldwide and prices are going up, things are getting crazy, people are going to start making different decisions. They're going to say, I'm getting Disney Plus and maybe HBO Max, and that's it. That's all I can afford, right? And so Netflix goes by the wayside, and now Netflix has to figure out how do we retain whatever customers we do have so we don't lose too much. And this is the thing that I've been saying, is that Netflix has to get in, its content has to change. They just don't have the amount of content that people want to watch or fans must have. Like, I must have this because, like I was saying before, if you're a Marvel fan, you must have Disney, or if you're a Star Wars fan, you must have Disney. There's no way around that. If you want to watch what they have, you have to have those particular streaming services. So it's the same kind of deal with Netflix, but Netflix doesn't have any must-have type content like that. Doesn't have, and that's where I think Netflix can change things up if they go out and do some of the things that I've suggested, which is, hey, we got to go out and convince Sony to kind of bring over a lot of its properties, since Sony isn't currently the only major big five studio without a streaming service. Hey, let's just convince Sony to come on over and start dropping some of their content on here, and then we'll start working with them to build it up, and there we go. It also says, this is from one of the investing firms, it says that we believe that the sooner the company shows its commitment to reducing churn by releasing its new content over several weeks, investors will see an uptick in net new subscribers and investor confidence in the Netflix business model. People have said that that's what they've needed to do for a while as well. It's like, hey, just drop them weekly. Just drop them weekly, because people are getting them, they're binging them, and they're moving on. And if you want to hold them and make your shows a talking point that people are going to be talking about week after week after week, got to change the business model, Netflix. They're doing so many little things wrong. Aside from some of the, controversial programming that they've come out with. And I mean, that's, obviously a big issue, and, it's head scratcher as well. But on top of that, they've done a really shaky job of growing subscribers just by keeping their popular shows in the public ear longer. Hey, give us Stranger Things. You got 8 weeks or 8 shows. Make that an 8-week talkathon about your show. Instead of everybody watches it and then they talk about it, and then after about 2 or 3 weeks, they're not talking about it anymore. Meanwhile, you go over to Disney Plus, you go over to HBO Max, you go over to Amazon Prime, and they're still talking about shows for over a period of 2 or 3 months. That's what Netflix, I think, really has to start thinking about. And again, going back to customer satisfaction, there was another chart that I had showed in the previous video. This is a similar chart, but it's showing you where Netflix was and where Netflix is. And you can see, if you can only keep one, which one? 2021 versus 2022. You can see the blue bar is 2021. So most people say, oh, 2021, yeah, I'm keeping Netflix. But that dropped 10%, all the way down to 31%. HBO Max rose, right? Not a lot of people had HBO Max. So 2021, it was 13%. Now it's jumped up to 19%. Hulu is around that 17 to 21%. Not much of a change there. Disney Plus is rising up 9% to 14%. And then you can see where Amazon and some of the others are. So yeah, more people are still keeping Netflix, but you notice the change. And what's that going to look like for 2023 if Netflix doesn't change things up? Are they going to continue to have that 31%? Is that going to continue to drop? That's the customer satisfaction piece right now that has to be worrying Netflix when they see this kind of information. And then back to the Deadline article, is still mentioning how the new ad destinations are elbowing into the market with Netflix and Disney, and then Apple and Amazon are muscling in on live sports. Again, something we've already talked about with Netflix not jumping in on the live sports mix. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now that's really shaking up the streaming world. Where's Netflix going to be? Is it still going to be the last man standing? A lot of people think so, because it's just got too big to fail written all over it. It's just this huge company. How can people possibly just leave Netflix? I'm guaranteeing you, Netflix is really scared about this upcoming earnings report. They don't deliver information that investors want to hear, that the audiences want to hear. I mean, you're going to see another big stock drop. I mean, if we're looking at another huge stock drop, I mean, wow, like what would that mean for this company? If it dropped like another 20% tomorrow or something like that. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. But folks, what do you think about Netflix in this precarious position right now? I know I've been talking a lot about it, and not a lot of people may be interested, but I think this stuff is just really interesting because it's talking about streaming, the future of streaming, and where things are going to, kind of shake out in the future of entertainment for that matter. All right, folks, but let me know what you think. Go ahead and leave me your comments and thoughts and opinions down below. And I want to thank you all for watching. See you next time.